kind of was just feeling very patriotic this week. I have came to the conclusion I think I hate this. A teacher asked me if I was pregnant. We've gotten to the bottom of this. It's not very explicitly being like, this guy's a loser, but when I'm reading this, I'm kind of like, I think this guy's a loser. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This week we are going to be doing a very fun and exciting reading vlog. This is like nothing I've done before, but the idea came to me last night and I was like, I'm going to do this week. This is going to be a bit of a Scottish reading vlog. I realised I really don't read Scottish books or just like Scottish authors. I literally might and I just don't know they're Scottish, but I feel like some of the maybe more popular Scottish books that people talk about I haven't read before. But last night I picked up the Seastone sisters. This is an arc that was sent to me. I believe the book is out now. I'm pretty sure it came out this week. As I started reading it, I realised like it was massively based in Scotland and it was about Scottish sisters. So I was like, oh, I absolutely love that. But you guys know I always like to have a book on my Kindle at the same time because I like to read to fall asleep. And even though I can read this in bed, like a lot of the time I prefer reading on my Kindle, like turning out all the lights, just lying in bed reading on my Kindle literally until the second my eyes close. So I was like, let's see what's on my Kindle. And there's been a big Kindle sale on recently where like loads of books were 99p, and I remembered I'd bought Outlander. Outlander, I believe, is like one of the most popular Scottish book series of all time. It's super popular and it's so funny because especially living in France, sometimes that's the only thing people know about Scotland is they'll be like, oh, do you like Outlander? And I'll be like, oh, I actually don't. Like, I don't know anything about it. I know Outlander is like absolutely beloved by so many people and I've just never got the chance to read it. I started reading that last night because I was like, I just want to read something to fall asleep. So I was like, this is a Scottish reading week and I thought it would be fun to bring you guys along with it. You guys may have seen, but I just did an ad for a campaign that was with the Scottish government. It has to be the most like exciting and fun opportunity I've ever had. I felt so proud to be part of that. And so this girl was just feeling very patriotic this week. And so I was like, yeah, let's just do a wee Scottish reading vlog. So let's catch up on what is actually going on with these books. Firstly, we've got the Seastone sisters. Like I said, this has recently came out. I feel like recently I've just not been in the mood for romance or fantasy. Like it really just has been like fiction and especially historical fiction. I love a historical fiction book. So that's what this is, but I'm definitely getting like fantasy elements to it as well. The book starts with this sort of legend. It's this island in Scotland, which by the way, I can't tell if it's fictional or not because it said it's between like Lewis and Harris and Skye. But then I was like looking it up on Google Maps. The isle's called Skara. The only place I could find was like Skara, Sweden. So maybe I need to research that better. I can't tell if this is fictional or not yet. Will confirm back. This father putting up these 4 stones for his 4 daughters that have been abducted so that they could hopefully see the stones and find their way home. And basically he put a curse on them that anyone who like laid those stones down, like their family would be destroyed. All these years later, it's now set in like the 1930s. We have this man and his 4 daughters who he lays down the stones and before you know it, their family is sort of in ruins. At the moment we're following Iris's timeline as she's travelling and this is still like 1930s. We also get present day timelines and at the moment we're following 2 different people. What I am suspecting is this is going to be us following this from loads of different perspectives of these people all around the world, but they're all somehow connected. And already I'm really enjoying it. I started it last night and I am 86 pages in. I've really been enjoying it and guys, can I tell you, I've been enjoying so much reading physical books. I think recently I've actually just been sick of reading books purely on my Kindle because you guys know the situation. I'm in France, so I don't want to buy loads of books and then not be able to get them home, but reading this is such a treat. So I'm really enjoying this so far. And then Outlander, I think I got 20 pages into last night before I fell asleep, but I actually don't really know what Outlander is about. I kind of went into it thinking it was a fantasy, but then I did see like it was noted somewhere like it's a historical romance. So if this is a historical romance with fantasy elements, I do feel like this is gonna slap. I can already imagine why people love it, so I'm really excited about that. Like I said, I am 20 pages in, so I know basically nothing yet. I can probably tell you guys a wee bit more about it and give you guys my thoughts as I continue reading it. What I will say about it is a beast of a book. I think 880 pages. It's gonna take us a while to get through, so I might as well start reading that whilst I'm also reading this. So there you have it. We're going to be reading some Scottish books this week. They're not really Scottish because I don't know if this authors are even Scottish, but they're based in Scotland or based around Scottish people. So it's going to be fun, it's going to be exciting, and I'm so excited to bring you guys along with it, and I'm so excited to finally read Outlander. Oh my god guys, another thing which I fully just forgot to mention in that intro is that I hit 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I cannot thank you guys enough. Seriously, it's such a huge milestone for me and I'm so proud of that. I think I said this when I hit 1,000 subscribers as well, but genuinely making this YouTube channel, I obviously make TikTok videos and we have a great wee community there, but I really did not expect that people would care to watch YouTube videos as well the way you guys have. So I am so grateful for that. I'm so excited that we hit 2,000 subscribers, and yeah, I just thought I would say that. A huge thank you guys so much for just always being the loveliest community, and just, yeah, you guys are literally my friends. Like, I genuinely have got so many friendships out of making these videos, and that's just so wonderful. It's a wonderful side of the internet, so thank you guys so much. I forgot to say that in the intro, but I just remembered I need to give you guys a huge thank you for that. Okay guys, it's been a few days now because I've just not had the chance to film, but I have been reading and I've got a wee update on the 2 books. For the Seastone sisters, I think I am 172 pages into that now. I am really loving this so far. I think this is like exactly the type of story I really enjoy. I'm so excited to see where this is gonna go and like see how it all unravels, see how everyone connects. Just the way it's written, it's very like immersive. Like, I like the fact that it is a more historical fiction, and when I'm reading it I really feel like I'm there with the people. I'm really enjoying the characters that we're getting to read about. It's very interesting. The way this is written, I am also loving like the Scottish elements to it. There was like a scene that I was reading last night. We were going to Edinburgh for the day. The way they like vividly described stepping out of Waverley Station when you can first see the castle and like Princes Street. I was loving it. It was honestly, I've never read a book like that before where I really could recognise the places they were talking about, and I felt like I was literally back in Scotland. I'm so excited to keep reading this. Outlander, I have gotten much less far and I'm 53 pages into that. I'm kind of just getting a feel for the story. Basically, we are following it from Claire's point of view. She was a nurse in a war, which I'm not really sure what war. Sometimes I get confused as well between like the time periods that these are written in, because there's mentions of different things in both books, mentions of war and stuff, so I'm like, wait, was she a nurse in the war? I think so. It was 6 years she was away from, and so she kind of has this disconnect from her husband. It's supposed to be like another romance for her that's not her husband, which I'm kind of glad to see, because the way it's written so far is not very explicitly being like, this guy's a loser, but when I'm reading this, I'm kind of like, I think this guy's a loser. He's a historian and he feels very wrapped up in his work. He doesn't really seem to have much interest in Claire. If she ends up with someone else, I'm not complaining, because yeah, that's just the vibes I'm getting at the moment. There's going to be some like magic elements in this, like time travel or something, I don't know yet, but I am loving both of these books so far. I'm gonna do a wee bit of reading before I go to work today. By the way, I'm actually still no further forward as to whether this place they're talking about, the Scottish island Skara, is a real thing. I've been doing my research and I like kind of can't figure it out. There is a place called Skara at the north of Scotland, but the way they described it, it was like in between Lewis and Harris and Skye. Another reason I've been getting confused with locations of things. The sister we are following in the 1930s, they've been talking about her going to Ceylon. So I was like, Ceylon, like I don't know where that is. And you don't want to pick up your phone and like kill the vibe if you're reading. I was thinking, well, it's in the 1930s, so like really they can't travel that far. So I was like, maybe it's somewhere in England. Guys, that's what Sri Lanka used to be called. So this girl has been travelling to Sri Lanka, which actually makes so much sense, because one of the girls we are following in present day comes from Australia. And I remember thinking, like, how could this girl be connected to this family from Scotland if she's in Australia? Like, how did we even get here? But I'm assuming it has something to do with the fact that this girl in the 1930s, I don't know if she's her mum, I don't know, like, what relation she has to her, but she was in Sri Lanka, so that is clearly like how there's that proximity. But yeah, I was literally reading this the entire time being like Ceylon's England or something, and eventually I decided to look it up because I was like reading and they were still on the boat after like kind of a long time, and I was like, how far can this be? It's Sri Lanka. I'm really going to try and get to the bottom of this whole Scotland Skara situation. Like, I do not know where this is. Okay guys, we've gotten to the bottom of this. Basically, Skara is a place in Scotland. It's somewhere in the Orkney Islands, which at first I was like, that makes sense, but then I was like, wait, no. And I found the page where it like described where Skara was. Skara's a peninsula narrowly attached to the west coast of Scotland, which is like where I stay. To the west lay the distant blue hills of Harris and Lewis, while the northerly finger of Skye pointed from the south. So I was like, well, that's definitely not the Orkney Islands. So it seems as though this place is fictional. Still giving me a good picture. I was just very curious to know, was this like a real place? Because I'd never heard of it before, but we have confirmed I don't believe this is a real place. There is a romance that we are following. Well, I don't know if it's a romance, and this is the thing, and this is why it's actually fun and interesting to read about. With Iris, our sort of main character who we're following back in the 1930s, she's one of the 4 sisters of the family who's been cursed. She is travelling to Ceylon, Sri Lanka, that we now know. But she's there as like a lady's maid for a rich woman, because obviously she like can't afford to go herself. She's sort of getting in with like the crowd and getting to know people on the boat, because obviously it's a pretty long journey. There's this man who, there's clearly like a little romance going on there, but when I'm reading it, it's like, as the reader, you know when you can read and be like, okay, so this is clearly the person she's going to fall in love with, like this is the male main character of the story now, like of the romance. I actually can't tell if he is going to be a good guy or a bad guy, and I'm kind of enjoying that. Like, I like that it doesn't feel predictable. I really don't know what's gonna happen there. She's really uncertain of him too, but I'm like, I can't tell if he's actually like scary and evil, or if there's just like a lot of tension, like if this is just like a Grumpy Sunshine situation. I can't tell, and I'm really enjoying that because it's keeping me on my toes. I have no clue what's going on. Good morning besties. You will have seen last night we finally finished the Seastone sisters. Sorry, firstly, one of the things I hate about vlogging is how it really exposes like outfit repeating. Like, yes, I did have this on yesterday, but it was only for an hour around the house, so of course I was going to wear it all day in school today. It's new and it's cute and I love it. I really feel exposed by that, and I feel like I need to justify it every time so you guys aren't like, is she not washing her clothes? But anyway, I finished the Seastone sisters. I ended up giving this a 4 stars. I really enjoyed this from start to finish. I was pretty invested from the first couple of pages. I felt like it was so easy to get into and follow along with. The writing style was just very immersive. I really felt like I was there with all of our characters, particularly Iris. Iris is the sister back in the 1930s who was going to Sri Lanka to try and find her uncle to see if he could help them. I loved her entire story. There ended up being a romance with that as well, which I didn't expect going into the book, but I actually loved it. Like, I literally ate the romance up. It was just a wonderful little story. I think the only complaint I could have is I felt the last like 20 pages and sort of the resolution of everything felt a little bit rushed, but I still really don't think it took away from like my overall enjoyment of the book. I really enjoyed this book, and I would definitely recommend you guys to read it because I felt as though it was just very well done, very interesting. The characters were great to follow along with because it obviously is a character driven book as well. Like, I think the plot is great, but we are following characters like throughout their lives, so I think that is what makes it so great. I think if you're looking for like a little historical fiction, obviously something that is quite based around Scotland, this is a great one. I really enjoyed all the Scottish elements of this as well. Like I said, the place where this is set is fictional, but descriptions of it are very true to Scotland. This was a great start to this little Scottish reading week. Now the focus will definitely be on Outlander, of course, because this is 800 pages. We have quite a lot to get through. I'm pretty sure I managed to make it up to like almost 200 pages last night when I was reading in bed, but I did fall asleep. So I can't be 100% sure where we got to. We're at a point in the book now where obviously Claire is like in this 18th century Scotland. She doesn't really know how she's got there. And they're at some sort of dinner, I think, and she overhears a folklore story being told of like a woman who came from the future and like arrived there and didn't know how she got there. And she was like, wait, is this about me? In the story, the girl was able to get back to her like home life. So now that's like clicked in her head, like I can go home. I think before she kind of like wasn't even thinking about that. The main clansman, don't really know like the lore of like who this person is, but he's kind of like the highest individual in the group and she's staying in his castle. He kind of will not let her leave. He's being kind to her, but he's very much like, she's English, we don't know why she's here. He has like a niggling feeling about her that she's not being like truthful about where she came from because she's kind of just arrived out of nowhere. He's a little bit suspicious of her, so he's keeping her very much under close watch within the castle. So now she's thinking about like, right, okay, well how can I get around this sort of like 24/7 surveillance I'm under to try and get home. So that's kind of where we are in the story. 600 pages to go. So far so good. I will keep you guys posted. Good evening guys. I thought we would do some reading tonight. I'm honestly just in the mood to sit and like properly binge my book a wee bit tonight. Guys, I've honestly had the day from hell. If you follow me on TikTok, you will have seen my TikTok story. I was in school today, so I was working, and I am not joking. A teacher asked me if I was pregnant, which genuinely is like, I was gonna say my worst nightmare, but like I actually don't think I've ever thought that would genuinely happen. For context, this is a teacher who anytime I go into her class, she's pretty cold, like since the first day I've been there. And so at the end of class today, I was going to pack up my stuff and she like asked me a question, and you guys know me, like with my French, it kind of takes me a minute most times to understand what people are asking if it's kind of like off script, if it's not like a question they usually ask me. She was asking me it like really with like a big smile on her face, so I was like, oh my god, like is she gonna give me a compliment? Are we about to bond for the first time? And I was like, what? She repeated the question. It still was kind of taking me a minute because I was like, there's no way. And she literally looked at me and she was like, no, like, are you with baby? Guys, I genuinely was like, this is the last you will ever see of me. I just sort of laughed, like, because I literally didn't know what to say, but I was just like, no. And she was like, oh, sorry. I came home for lunch and the second I got through the door, I burst into tears because like, literally, what the fuck? I posted on my Insta story and you guys were so nice about it, and it's so funny because I posted an OOTD this morning. I just got this new top from Zara, and it is, mind you, this is why I'm like confused by the whole thing, because like fair enough if I was wearing like a tight top, like she gets bloated sometimes, like I could literally understand that if I was wearing like a tight top. Still a crazy thing to say to someone, but I could like kind of get the vision. This new top from Zara was genuinely like the flowiest top ever. I feel like it couldn't be more flattering because it's so loose, like there's nothing to see. And I posted an OOTD this morning genuinely because I was obsessed with this top. I was so excited to debut it in my school today because I was like, I feel so whimsical and fairy and so cute, and I felt like very like on trend with like the French fashion here. I was literally so excited to go in, had my hair done, like I honestly felt like $1,000,000. That is just the university's way of humbling me today. And so I actually have like needed to come home and just retreat into my little comfort shell because what the hell. Now we're gonna do some reading. Listen to my audiobook on the way to school this morning. At the moment we're at page 194. I've got some Scottish ambience in the background and we're just gonna cuddle up and do some reading and just try and forget about this godforsaken day. I honestly can laugh about it now. It was just kind of the shock in the moment. You guys were so funny, like sending me messages after my story. It was actually really kind. And also everyone then started flooding my OOTD comments with really kind comments. That was really kind. But yeah, it's just been a crazy day. A good story to tell for sure. But yeah, I'm just gonna do some reading now because there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm actually fully committing to this like entire reading experience. I've got the Scottish ambience in the background, and also I've just put on an Outlander vibes playlist, and I can see it's all like music from Brave. She's really going home to Scotland tonight. Hello besties, it's been a few days since I updated you guys. As you can see, she is not looking her finest right now. I'm sick again. I think the last time I updated you, I was like, I've not spoken to you in a few days because I was so sick, but I'm feeling better now, so like we're back on the grind. Then she gets sick again. I don't know what it is. It must be like working in the schools or something. But I guess the only like positive, semi-positive thing you could say is that I've been reading. I have finally made it over the halfway point in my book. I'll tell you guys what page I've made it to. Page 477. I feel like I have so many thoughts on this book since I last updated you guys. As I mentioned, Claire has like gone back in time to 18th century Scotland. She's also kind of made enemies with actually her husband, Frank, in the real world, her husband's descendant. Is descendant not what comes afterwards? No, her husband's ancestor is I think the word I'm looking for. He's kind of out to get her, and he's like a powerful person. Because people can't like tie back like where's this woman came from, like she's came out of nowhere, she's clearly not from here. Basically say that the best way to like prove her safety and make people think that she's not a spy is to get her married with someone in their sort of sphere. So she has this arranged marriage with Jamie. They already sort of have like kind of a friendship. So we're kind of seeing like their relationship develop. And at first I was kind of all for it. It actually does seem like a nice guy. But the more I'm reading this, there's a lot I have to say, but the most like sort of recent thing that I've noticed is there was a scene where he low-key like hit her. It was one of those moments where I was reading this book and I was like, am I crazy? Because I feel like this is the type of thing, like I know Outlander is literally one of the most popular book series in the world. Does no one talk about the fact that he literally hit her for doing something wrong? I went onto TikTok to see like, am I the only one who felt like this? And I've seen people complaining about the fact that like there's a lot of mentions of like SA and people feel that it comes up too much. But why is no one talking about the fact that he hit her? It's really weird to me. It's like leaving a bad taste in my mouth. I think the other reason that I've not been loving the book as much, like I am enjoying it. I feel like genuinely if I was hating it I wouldn't have made it almost 500 pages in, like I would have DNF'd it. But also I definitely feel like the writing style is very much telling and not showing. When I'm reading a book I really like to feel like I know the character, I am like inside their head, I'm experiencing everything with them for the first time. I think it's a writing, I feel so detached from Claire as a character. I don't know if that's why the book's so long, because what they do is they go like 3 chapters telling you all these things that happen, and then it's like maybe at the end of 3 chapters you'll get like a couple of sentences telling you how Claire feels about it, and it's all like crazy stuff. Sometimes scenes will happen and I'll be like, is that as bad as I think it was? Because like there's been no comment on Claire being affected by like what just happened. It's a very, very bizarre writing style, but I'm gonna keep trying to read it. I want to finish it this weekend, and if I'm gonna be sick in bed, this is the time to do it. We've made it to part 6 of the book, which I believe is the last part, or like one of the final parts, because we've only got 180 pages left of this book. I really like powered through it, and do you know what it is, guys? Do you know when you get to that point with a book where you're genuinely like, I need to binge this because I just want it to be over now? What I've realised, I feel like this entire time I've been like, do I like this or do I hate this? Like I really couldn't tell. And what I've realised is this book is making me feel absolutely nothing, and I think that's like the issue. It's not a bad thing because like I'm getting through an 800 page book. I think the world itself is interesting enough to keep me engaged, but the characters themselves make me feel absolutely nothing. I feel nothing towards any of these characters. The writing style that I was talking about yesterday, it's so detached from the people, like it really is telling, not showing. This is actually written in first person, but you would think it was written in third person by someone who literally did not know these people at all, because I feel as though there's no emotion in it whatsoever. I'm kind of plodding along fine through the book, even though I'm not feeling anything towards the characters. At the same time, there are parts of it where it is so boring, because you can imagine with a book that is this long, like there are just so many mundane scenes and like kind of conversations between the characters that go on for pages and pages and pages. And there are books that I absolutely love that are like that, and because I love the book and I love the characters, I could literally listen to them talk about the price of mints. However, in this case scenario, because I do not connect to the characters whatsoever and I have no interest in them and no connection to them, yeah, that definitely does make it boring. So now I'm just like, do you know what, guys? let's wrap this up. I am absolutely determined to finish this either today or tomorrow. That's pretty much what we're going to be doing today. I'm still feeling kind of rubbish, but I've got some clothes on that aren't jammies today, so that's good. We've came downstairs to do our reading, so that's good. Got a wee bowl of Pringles, and I'm just going to sit here and try and get through this book. I'll probably put on my little Scottish playlist. I really do like listening to that when I'm reading it. I also do feel kind of superior reading this as well, because I heard a lot of people on TikTok say Americans or just people who weren't Scottish being like they really struggle with like the dialogue because they don't know what they're saying. Don't get me wrong, even though some of the language like is not words I would use in my day-to-day life, like it is very like old Scots, I love being able to follow along. I can hear their voices so clearly in my head and I know exactly what they're trying to say, so I do enjoy that. So I'm going to get on my little Scottish playlist, listen to that, and yeah, try and get this book finished. Guys, I only have like 60 pages left of this book, and I think I lied. See, when I said I don't like the book, I don't hate it, I just like how it makes me feel nothing. I have came to the conclusion I think I hate this. I mentioned yesterday that I definitely felt as though there was a lot of SA and violence in that way, even like within their own relationship. It's kind of getting to the point where it's like being used to like move the story along. I do understand the presence of some of it because it's maybe like true to the time that this is set in, but it is now being used so often that it's really grossing me out. Like, it's actually disgusting me, and I'm really just like so over this book. I hate it. Like, I'm actually gonna say that out loud now. This is where I'm like so confused, because this is such a beloved series. I'm like genuinely so confused what people are loving so much about this, and I'm not meaning that and like I can't believe people like this. Wait, I'm not getting it. I feel as though this is the type of thing that would have people like up in arms about the amount of essay and violence that's in this. I actually think I hate the book and I need it to be done. We have finally finished Outlander. Honestly, like in these situations, I genuinely, it's not even like I'm like, oh, I hate that book so much. I really get so much FOMO in these situations, especially when it's such a beloved series like Outlander. I hated that. Like, I actually did. And do you know what? For the first, honestly, like 500 pages, I was pretty neutral towards the whole thing. First couple of 100 pages, I enjoyed it. Then I think there was a couple like things I'd noticed in the first 100 pages that I thought, oh, will that improve? Like the writing style, like it being very detached, and just honestly, even though it's in first person, I had no clue what was going on in Claire's head the entire time. I feel no connection to her whatsoever, which is a crazy thing to say when the book is 800 pages long, that you don't feel a connection to the character. Like, there's something not right there. So then in the next like 300 to 500 pages, I was like, this is kind of weird, but I'm still kind of vibing with it. It's getting kind of boring, and you know, you're really feeling the toll of the fact that it's an 800 page book. Those last 300 pages, I was just like, I'm so sick of this. I'm literally just sick of it now. I would say for me, the two key things that I couldn't look past was one, the writing style being so detached and just really having no emotional connection to the characters whatsoever, and two, the endless and graphic depictions of SA. Just not my thing. Really just not my thing. I can appreciate, especially in historical fiction, when it's maybe mentioned. In those cases, it's coming from someone who we know in the book is a villain. We're not seeing that sort of abuse or violence take place from someone who we're supposed to be rooting for. So that was weird to me. The entire book was just weird to me. I really went into this thinking I would love it. I loved the whole premise of it, like a historical fiction romance. That's my vibe. Like, that is always my vibe. That's why I think I did enjoy parts of it. I'm gonna be rating that book a 2-star. At first, I was like, because like I said, I genuinely get so much FOMO, and I'm like, I don't want to be the hater in this situation when everyone loves this series. I want to love it as much as everyone else does. So I was like, is it like a 2.53 stars? No, it's a 2 stars. I don't think I would recommend this book to you guys, genuinely. Like, I wouldn't recommend this to people. That's why I'm so shocked it's so beloved. I'm glad I read it though. I'm glad I know what people are talking about. But yeah, that kind of concludes our Scottish reading vlog. We had a 4 stars and a 2 stars, a book that I will now be recommending to lots of people and a book that I probably will never recommend to anyone. Please let me know if you guys have any other Scottish book recommendations or books by Scottish authors. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for another video.